the visit of the foreign minister, and we'll be happy to discuss with him further cooperation.
To strengthen ties, promising to urge Indian citizens to visit Zanzibar.
And IIT.
The Minister of Investment, Industry and Trade, Dr. Ashatu Kijaji, directs the companies that have signed the strategic investment agreements to increase production of goods to ensure Tanzania sustain itself domestically. Dr. Kijaji met the directive in Dar es Salaam while witnessing the signing of contracts of 10 companies for the implementation of strategic.
Minister of Investments, Industries and Trade, Dr. Ashatu Kijaji, directs the investors to adhere to the contracts signed.
Raw materials tunataka mzitoe pale Ludewa.
We need the raw materials to be taken from Ludewa and brought to your great attention, so we need to see progress there. The work should be completed within the time we set for you.
The Tanzania Investment Center Executive Director Gilead Terry says the projects will provide 160,000 jobs for Tanzanians.
Of the business and investment environment, which is led by the Honorable President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, and the increase in efficiency of the provision of services to investors at the Ministry of Investment, Industry and Trade, as well as the Investment Center.
More than 3 times to TRC, we built a distillery, we make alcohol for local consumption, and we export to Kenya. And now,
especially in China, and every time when we talk about Tanzania, the Chinese people thinking I'm born in Tanzania, because I'm only talking about the big good in Tanzania, asking people to invest in Tanzania.
The management of the Tanzania Investment Center says that the agreements signed are the results of the change of the 2022 law, which aims to remove drawbacks and attract more investors in the country.
Good news there for the Tanzanian business community. The United States want to see Tanzania transform from being a nation that depends on aid to the one that depends on commerce and investment for the country's economic development. She made the assurance in Dar es Salaam during the press conference to give an assessment of her visit to the country.
But here, the human capacity, the dedication, the creativity, the entrepreneurship, and we really local change agents who want to work themselves out of assistance relationships. We're not going anywhere. We are here for this partnership, but we recognize that that ambition is more dignity, more economic opportunity, more prosperity, and a trade relationship that will bring inclusive benefits to many citizens.
Furthermore, Samantha adds that her agency will continue to work with Tanzania to improve the agricultural sector and enable the local agricultural products find a reliable global market at competitive price.
The partnership, mentorship, training is we offer support in helping particularly small farmers market their goods. We link them to agro businesses that themselves may already have established export connections. And we often do small things, but that can make a big difference, like actually transporting those farmers to expos or market fairs that are happening in other countries.
The Minister of Health, Dr. Hussein Shekalage, directs scientists in the country should maximize on ever-increasing investment in Islam during medical conference in services in the country. Here's a report prepared by Harry Mabumo, read by Apasia Rengo.
It is a conference of radiologists which includes specialized medical experts from East African countries and the United States, which targets to build better systems to offer and provide better medical care. Here, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Saif Shekalahi, says the sixth-term government has been doing all it can to improve health care and that the medical professionals should capitalize on.
For the first time in our country, Our Excellence, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of Tanzania, she has bought 30 CT scans in each of the regional hospitals. There's a CT scan for the first time. If that is not enough, we have zonal hospitals, 5 of them, that covered about each 5 to 6 regions. So in each of them there's MRI. So making sure that people around this region, they can access the MRI services, not coming all the way. Before that, they were all coming here in Dar es Salaam, and our country is so big. But that is not enough. In each of the district hospital, there is a digital X-ray. People, the radiologists, so to make sure that we have radiologists even at the district hospital. So I am sure this is not only happening in Tanzania. I'm sure also all the countries that are here, there are different, strategies that are being done, but also investment in the healthcare system, but not to forget the radiology imaging.
The chairman of the organizing committee of the conference, Dr. Mercris Mango, says that the sixth-term government has invested in ensuring CT scan machine in each region and MRIs in regional hospitals to improve the quality of services.
Tumeshuhudia ufungwaji wa mashine mpya za teknolojia ya kisasa.
We have witnessed the installation of new machines with modern technologies such as digital X-ray in health services, as well as the issue of bringing services closer to citizens and reducing death, especially for mothers and children.
We should start to train each other. So with that, I'm sure we remove our continent from where we are to where we want to go.
The conference is one of a kind, attended by more than 200 scientists and specialist doctors from East Africa and the United States.
Remaining in the commercial city of Dar es Salaam, environmental stakeholders in Tanzania urge young people in the country to be keen to explore and innovate new eco-friendly technologies to help their communities fight the challenges.
The organizations to deal with climate change.
Discuss in terms of the policies that we can use to lobby the government to ensure that whatever challenges that we are seeing at the community level are being addressed.
The head of the programs from Tanzania Civil Society Forum on Climate Change Forum CC say that young people should be aware and show active participation to innovate new eco-friendly technologies.
One case that we need to be amplified is the BBT approach that is used in the agriculture sector. If this approach is extended to other sectors, resources available in terms of technology, resource, human resource and financial resource, to extend the BBT approach not only in the agriculture sector, but to other sectors where the youth can find employment opportunities, and the ratification we had from the global level, especially the Paris Agreement.
Participants from the non-governmental organizations say that the private institutions and the government should cooperate fully on the investment of modern technologies that will bring positive results to the environment.
And to be here, we learn can involve in adapting climate change and raise voice about climate change. So we are calling for government and private sector and other stakeholders to help in investing in technology, especially to youth and in different private entity.
Emmanuel Samuel, TBC News.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel Samuel. Now remaining in climate change issues, but now we move all the way to Paris in France, where African countries call for the formation of a joint work committee with the G7, central banks and civil society to stop large sums of money. Today's summit for a new global financing pact held in Paris, France. The meeting addresses the financial challenges encountered by the Global South in the fight against climate change. Developing nations want fairer global lending summit financial statement calls for an extra $200 billion US for emerging economies over the next decade. Attending the summit, the Kenyan president.
We should explore the possibility of carbon price flow, right? We said let's on carbon and 75, assuming that we even agree, and by the way, we are ready from the Global South, we are ready from the continent of Africa to play our part.
The government of Tanzania has signed an agreement with the government of Italy to facilitate financial assistance for signing the registration, insolvency and trust. Rehema Sibabili has more details.
Permanent secretary in 240 region.
As your registration section, which entails procurement of registration forms, training of trainers for the beneficiary officers at the beneficiary headquarters in Dar es Salaam, training and capacity building for district council officers.
The Rita Board chairperson, Dr. Amina Msengwa, says the districts that will benefit from the program include the district of Lushoto, Korogwe, Muheza, Tanga, Pangani, Handeni, Kilindi, Mkinga, and Bumbuli.
As we understand, based on the offer to us, is a big mileage of the...
Thanks to the support of Her Excellency President Samia Suluhu Hassan, this process started to be quickly 2 years ago, and now finally we are here signing this very important very important memorandum of understanding that is just a component because of a bigger picture.
The overall is the prime commodity of the 21st century.
We're three.
We are back again and remaining here in Dar es Salaam. The Senior Assistant Commissioner of Police, Ulrich Matei, says that the police force in Tanzania targets to continue to engage the community in combating crime in their communities. He made the affirmation during the training involving police officers from Germany and Thailand, insisting all police officers
from Germany and Thailand have shared their experiences in the community policing, elaborating on how they provide services to the community in their police system to combat crime.
Finally, structure of policing, that's quite clear.
In exchange rates. Time now for all the latest in international news. And here is international news as compiled by Dorothy Murray and read by Apasia Ringo.
Ethiopia is preparing to launch the fourth filling of its mega dam reservoir on the Blue Nile, opening a conference on the Nile in Addis Ababa, saying the last three fillings have not affected lower riparian states. The massive $4.2 billion United States Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, has been at the center of a regional dispute ever since Ethiopia broke ground on the project in 2011. Sudan and Egypt have previously cited it as a threat because of their dependence on Nile waters, while Ethiopia deems it essential for its electrification and development. Zimbabwe's electoral body has cleared 11 people to contest in presidential elections in August after many politicians complained of very high application fees. They include the two front-runners, President Emerson Mnangagwa and his main rival Nelson Chamisa. An exiled former government minister will also run as an independent. Registration fee. Zimbabwe will hold presidential. Approximately 3.4 million Sierra Leoneans are expected to vote in a general election tomorrow, in which incumbent President Julius Bio is seeking a second and final term amid frustrations over economic hardship. Voters will also elect members of parliament and local councillors across the West African state. Observers from the African Union and the West African Regional Bloc, ECOWAS, issued a joint statement urging political parties and their supporters to abide by their rule of law. The poll is the fifth presidential election since the end of a 1991 to 2002 civil war. If no candidate secures 55% of valid votes cast in the first ballot, the top two candidates will head to a run of 2 weeks after the announcement of the first round result.
That was international news. Sports news up next. In sports news, Tanzania Tourist Board, in collaboration with GNT Cargo Transport, plans to promote Tanzania's culture and sports tourism in China, so as to attract tourists from China to visit culture and sports tourist centers in Tanzania.
As Tourism Board, we have started our strategies of organizing different exhibitions and participating in sports events organized by stakeholders such as marathons, games like basketball and football, to engage with stakeholders so as to attract tourists from outside the country. We have planned with our marketing team that when we travel to China, we will take our national flag and wear cultural clothes so as to attract tourists from China.
Kwa hiyo tunafanya hizo protocol kuhakikisha kwamba
more than 100 business and tourist promoters are expected to be in the trip to China to promote culture and sports tourism. Tanzania Olympics Committee Vice President Dr. Henry Tandao urges Tanzania